The camp is poorly guarded. We should get back as soon as possible.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Hey guys, there's been some great changes made with last week's patch with the way that players can acquire Warband activity. So from the codex now you can actually see that bounties, dungeons and elder rifts now give you Warband activity. In this video I kind of wanted to take a look at how this actually works and answer some questions like how much activity each one of these gives, how many players from the Warband you need in your party, whether having more Warband members in the party gives a bigger bonus, and more importantly, whether or not we can all stop doing Purges and Endless and enjoy ourselves playing the game. Because if it wasn't clear from the intro, doing 50 Purges per week to cap the Warband activity isn't really my idea of fun. Last week I also tested every single Warband activity in the game so you guys don't have to, and in this video I'm going to rank every single Warband activity and hopefully give you guys, in my opinion, the fastest way to cap your Warband activity every week. This video is going to have a lot of information, but if you just want a summary and you're here just for the tier list, then I'll put a timestamp and you can skip ahead in the video. So before the patch there were 4 main ways you could get Warband activity. Let's quickly talk about them and see if there were any changes made with this patch. So the first one is raids. If you would get 80 Warband activity per raid boss, and there's 2 resets, so you get 10 raid bosses per week. So the changes made here is, if you've seen my last video, you can now actually run these solo and you'll still get the Warband activity. So say if you're running a non-Warband group of 8 people, you'll still get Warband activity. As well as the massive amount of Warband activity, you also get quite a lot of rewards, so this activity is still definitely worth doing and should be part of your weekly routine. So quickly moving on to normal defense. So normal defense can be done once per week and can be done at any time of your choosing. It doesn't need the Warband leader to set a time anymore, and it can be done with as few or as many players as you like, and it doesn't give an extra bonus for having people in a group. So this mode takes roughly 5 to 6 minutes to do, so it will give you 160 Warband activity as well as some ancestral weapons and stuff, so it's still worth doing, I would say. And even though it takes quite a while, it's still giving you quite a lot of activity per minute spent. So going from some of the best activities to some of the worst now, you've got Endless Defense. So Endless Defense gives you 4 activity per 1k score you make, and for a 10k score run you'd need roughly 5 minutes, and that would give you 20 activity. So it turns out this is actually one of the worst activities. In fact, it's actually the worst activity to do if you're looking to cap your activity as fast as possible. The only reason I've given it an E tier is because it's kind of fun, and also there is a way you can get it to be useful, but I'm going to cover that in another video. So moving on to my least favorite activity to do in the whole game, is Purges. So Purges actually got a little bit of a hidden buff with the last patch. You can now actually gain the maximum amount of activity, which is 40 activity, even while being solo, so you no longer need a minimum of 4 players from the Warband, and you can now do it with non-Warband members. If you ignore all remnants, then you can do a run in roughly 2 to 3 minutes, so that actually gives an activity per minute of 16, which doesn't sound so bad, but the mode is just so boring. You get no loot, you get no XP. You've got barbs in your Warband falling asleep on the floor. Just please delete them. Please, Blizzard, just do me a favor. This is going straight to the F tier. So moving on to the new activities that give Warband points after this patch, you've got Bounties. So Bounties have actually surprised me a lot. They actually turned out to be the best activity per minute in the whole game, and I'll definitely be adding them. These are S+ tier by far. So basically Bounties give you 24 activity per 1 bounty. So if you do 8 bounties, you get almost 200 activity. And the best thing about these is that you can split farm them. So let's say that you were to do 1 bounty per person in the party, you can do these so quick. You probably could do 8 in 1 minute. So the thing to bear in mind is that you need at least 1 person from the Warband in the party, and it doesn't give you more bonus having more, but obviously the more the merrier, right? And you want to get through these as quick as possible. So if you walk away with 1 thing from this video I would suggest is save your bounties and do them with your warband mates. So next we've got rifts. Rifts are an excellent way to get warband activity now. You also get embers and mats while doing runs. Runs are generally really quick. You do 1 to 2 minute runs, and each run will give you 24 activity. You need 1 warband member in your party. Having more doesn't give an extra bonus, and that gives roughly an activity per minute of 16, which makes it tied with Purge, but it's a lot more fun to do, so definitely recommended. So last but not least is dungeons. So dungeons were actually a bit confusing to test, but I think I got it figured out now. So dungeons give activity based on the battle points that they give. So let's say, for example, Mad King's Breach gives 15. So 15 battle point dungeons give you 45 activity per run. And 20 battle point dungeons, like Tristram Cathedral, for example, that'll give you 60 battle points per run. While I think there's only 1 dungeon with 25, and that's Silent Monastery. This will give you 75, but who wants to run Silent Monastery? Okay, so basically you need the same thing as rifts and bounties. You need 1 warband member, and same as them, they don't give any extra bonus having more, so you can just run with 1 member and 2 randoms if you want. I had a few people telling me that featured dungeons and random dungeons give more activity, but when I tested it, that wasn't the case. They give, like for example, if random dungeon you queued up to Mad Kings, you'd get the 45. If you queued up to Namari, which gives 20, I think, you'd get 60. So my personal favorites are just to do the ones that you need, but if I had to pick, it would be ones that are really quick to run. Probably Namari, Forgotten Tower, things like that. But they're definitely an excellent way to run and get warband activity. So to summarize the video, I've got the full tier list here. If you guys want to pause the video and take a screenshot, you're more than welcome to. I just want to go through a few notes which are under the table here. So all the values I've talked about in this video are the values before the 1,000 points cap. If you've already reached the 1,000 points cap, then you have to divide by 4. So as for the fastest way to cap your warband activity now, so the 1,500 points, I like to think of it as 1,000 points plus 500 times 4, since it's got a 4 times penalty. So that gives 3,000 points per week. So the fastest way, in my opinion, would be to do the raids twice per week, so that would give you 800. Then you do the normal defense once per week, that will give you 160. And if you save every single bounty every day, that will give you, well, you can do 8 bounties per day with your warband, and that will give you 1,344. You can stack up to 24, I believe, over 3 days. And last but not least, you want to do 20 battle pass dungeons, 12 of them, and that will give you roughly 700 to top you off for 1,500 points. So this is actually a lot easier to do, and it was a lot harder before with running Purges and Endless mode after you'd ran your raids and normal defense. So I'm really glad that Blizzard has made these changes. So as well as that, every activity in yellow in the table needs 1 warband member. Having more doesn't give a bonus, and every activity in green can be done solo. So the other thing is, you want to be careful, because basically now that these warband activity points can be redeemed in the codex, well, at least the ones for Elder Rift, bounties and dungeons, you don't want to stack too much into one. If you save your warband points and stack too much into one, that might cause problems, because you can only save basically 1,500 points. So if you cap more than 1,500 into one, it might be I'm not exactly sure what it's going to do, but it might be lost. So what you want to do is, as you go along and cap your warband points, you just want to claim those battle pass and those warband points, and then you can go ahead and save the rest of the battle points for the week if you do that. So if this video has helped you guys and you've learned something, please do give a like and please do subscribe. I appreciate every single one of your subscriptions, and I'll see you guys in the next one.